7:42 morning. This is Breakfast with Stephen and Ellie.
And it's time to go through the papers now. And joining us this morning is writer and journalist Candice Holdsworth, alongside broadcaster and podcast host Sean McDonald. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
And Candice, let's start with you, shall we? And the NHS waiting lists.
Yes, so this is a story in the Eye. It's Dr. Tim Cooksley. He's the head of the Society for Acute Medicine, and he's, I think, trying to put a bit of pressure on the government to sort of come to the table over these strikes, because he's saying that 1 in 6 people are going to be stuck on waiting lists. The lists are going to balloon to something like 9.2 million. And obviously this is one of Rishi Sunak's 5 pledges, to get waiting lists down. And it's gotten worse, like with many of the other things that he's trying to solve. It's kind of gone the other way. So I think doctors now know that if they kind of put that pressure on him, that maybe he'll come to the table. But so far, he's not. He's standing firm, and he's saying 6%, that's it, even though doctors don't want to accept that.
Are they just using this as are they using us as patients as a negotiating tactic?
Well, yeah, that's the big criticism, right? So patient suffering is one of the negotiating tactics, which is why I don't think all consultants are on board with this. You know, some people really have a problem with the BMA using these tactics, and they've said, you know, as doctors, we sort of took an oath. We don't walk out on our patients, so there are other ways of negotiating. And from what I know, even people who are very neutral on this issue, you know, commenters on this, have said it is causing chaos. These strikes are contributing to the waiting lists.
No, yeah, they will be.
Yeah.
This one I love in the Metro. I shouldn't like this, but I do. Just stop foiled.
Yeah, I know what you mean by saying you shouldn't like it, but it is funny. There was an attempted this protest by Just Stop Oil at Elephant and Castle in London, and they were kettled themselves by, turned out to be a pair of YouTube pranksters, they're being called. I think the names are Archie Manners and Josh Peters, and they basically kettled them in and held them and said, we want you to just stop peeing people off.
Yeah.
I mean, we've talked about it so much. We know the ins and outs. We know why Just Stop Oil are protesting. We know that it is important to try and halt climate change. That's true. But I do think this is funny, because it's very easy to say with the Just Stop Oil people that it's a noble cause and you support it. But you won't be saying that if you're the one that's held up, or it stops you getting somewhere. If it stopped me getting a flight, or if it stops someone getting to a hospital, that's the kind of the both sided.
I wonder how irate the Just Stop Oil people got about being disrupted.
I know. I would love to know. I would actually love to see this. They'd probably be really annoyed that they couldn't go anywhere, they couldn't move, that they were just trying to go about their business, and they're being prevented from doing it. So yeah.
That's what they were actually being heckled with yesterday. They were saying, how do you like it? How does it feel?
Yeah, and it's actually a better method than, say, like attacking them, like some people have. Mock them, make fun of them. Much better.
Yeah, it was funny. I was happy with that, seeing it.
Candice, let's have a look at the Star, shall we? Are they quackers? Is the headline.
Yeah. So apparently, this is covered by the Star, some local councils are fining people £100 on-the-spot fines for things like feeding the ducks, flying kites, and climbing trees. And this has all been uncovered by the Civil Liberties group, the Manifesto Club. And it's a way of making money, and it's also really draconian as well. It's like children climbing trees, and some councillor comes along and issues £100 fine under so-called antisocial behaviour laws.
Right.
But I mean, it's like stretching the definition of antisocial.
And feeding the ducks.
I know.
What's wrong with them?
I know. Who comes up with these rules? It's so wrong. I always hate when I see no ball games. You know, you see a big stretch of grass and they say no ball games, and I'm like, that will fuel antisocial behaviour if you don't give kids an outlet. Let them play. That's the best thing for them.
I have to say, there's loads of signs near us who saying don't feed the ducks bread. Well, why not? We've fed ducks bread for hundreds of years.
What are you meant to feed ducks?
Well, buy bird seeds
and stuff, I think.
Oh, right.
But
We're doing it wrong.
Bit of bread, it's not going to kill them, is it?
I fed them peanut butter sandwiches for a good 10 years.
Oh, there you go.
they were looking good to
I'll
me.
tell you what, if you've been hit by one of these, get in touch, gbviews@gbnews.com. But I would say, just don't pay it. Don't pay it, let them take you to court.
Yes, that's
because if you go to court with that, surely no magistrate in their right mind is going to say, yeah, this is a justified fine.
That's so true. They don't expect people to fight it. They expect people to sort of panic on the spot and just be like, okay, the best thing to do is challenge it. Stand your ground.
Is this just a way of councils making money? Surely, because this is children we're attacking here, flying kites and playing ball games and climbing trees. I mean, it's part of a childhood, isn't it?
Silly.
Happy childhood.
Silly.
Sean, you're desperate to tell us about this lion on the loose in Berlin, aren't you?
I am. The headline is Bedlam as Berlin hunts for lioness on the loose. So obviously this is pretty
It's
serious.
not a football player.
Well, yeah. So there's a lion has escaped from a zoo, and it's basically roaming the streets of a suburb in Berlin, and they have got helicopters, SWAT teams, wildlife experts, and armoured vehicles. Obviously very serious, but I just found this really funny. Michael Gruber, who's the mayor of Kleinmachnow, he's seeking to reassure the public, and he said he's basically annoyed that they're being mocked, and he said to any mockers out there, no, this is not our new system of tackling wild boar by using lions and like releasing lions onto the street. They said, we're not setting up a Serengeti park, this is a serious situation and we still haven't found this lion. I don't know how he's making this comical.
What's up with him?
So I just found that really hilarious, and so I wanted to tell you this.
Oh, here we go.
A lion,
Brace yourself.
a lion walks into a bar and he says, can I have a vodka and Coke? And the barman says, what's with the big paws? And the lion goes, I was born with them.
Oh, get out.
The dad jokes have started early today.
Oh, that was so good. I was laughing for ages in the green room when I thought of it.
Oh, you thought of that one, did you?
I came up with it, yeah. I
That's
wrote
an
it.
Oh, did you? Oh, well done.
An original.
Well done. Love it, Nick. Just
He's only been talking about that for about 5 minutes.
terrible. Just very briefly, Candice,
Yes.
let's have a look at the Telegraph and this flood of queries from NatWest customer. NatWest that owns Coots, which has debanked Nigel Farage. There's a whole load of unhappy customers.
Yeah, so this report's in the Telegraph, going by this Facebook page of people who've gathered together saying they've lost their bank accounts and they think it's for their social media being monitored by the bank. One guy thinks he lost his bank account for criticising NHS waiting lists and immigration. So now that Nigel Farage has kind of shown the way to get information on why you lost your bank account, they're all starting to do that now. They're coming together. Before, I don't think they had the legal advice or the resources to figure out how to do it. But this is pretty appalling that your social media accounts could be monitored and you could lose your bank account and you're not told about it. You're not informed about it. This sort of surveillance is going on secretly. I think that's really sinister. And why do banks think that they can play that role in society, sort of trying to correct people's political beliefs?
I know, and who sets that line
Yes.
as well,
Yeah.
for what is acceptable and what isn't?
Exactly.
It's somewhere you would hope that people from all across the political spectrum would sort of unite and even in the smaller examples, you know, I don't like what someone says, I'm going to contact their boss, I'm going to try and get them sacked, like chuck it, like stop it and grow up, because those little things, they lead to the bigger ones, they lead to people losing their bank accounts.
Yeah,
So
no,
don't-
that's a fair point.
Don't be a wee grass.
Oh,
that's my
I can
advice.
imagine the industrial-sized shredders are being warmed up in various
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
So you can imagine, can't you?
Yes, because they put it all in writing and he was able to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
Yep.
file.
Yes.
Well, there you go. If you've been affected by that, get in touch. Love to hear from you. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank
What
you
time
very
is it?
much.
It's not 8 o'clock yet, so you've got another hit.
Another joke to come up with.
No, thank you, Sean.
Go get busy in the green room.